All right, good morning. Well, little strength this morning. Doesn't appear to be anything of real significance to start. 1 second here. Okay. And was options expiring last Friday, so maybe this has something to do with it. We'll see. We'll let things settle down for a little while, and we'll see where they go. But and so they're opening up here, coming up to the topping tail now. If this was the end of the day, which we all know it's not, and we had a bar that looked like this, well, that would be easy. Buy above the high of the bar, look for it to go higher. But since we're gapping up to resistance, the futures work their way up to resistance. Spiders will gap up, and the S&Ps will gap up to resistance. We'll just see what they do after 5 minutes. Does it form a big red bar? Does it trade under it? Does it just hang there? Like, bring it on, whatever you want to sell, we're here to take it. And you get a solid green bar, and then does it take it out, step by step? So right now I'd say this a little bullish to neutral. And seeing the hourly chart there, tried to break down, came up, and kind of just hanging there, nice and quiet, waiting for the open, waiting for more participants to see who wants to play. Not much going on there. Looking at spiders, just saying where they are at. So 417, and just gapping up into the resistance area. So really nothing of any difference. But as we look at this pattern and kind of, let's just for a moment forget about the weekend and Friday options expiration, blah blah blah, and just focus on this intraday chart. Well, that's a hell of a powerful run off of the low. And so far, going sideways at this resistance area is bullish. We have a bottoming tail bar, and it's gapping above a red bar. So we've got a red bar ignored, which tested the bottoming tail bar. And now, what does it do here? I mean, when prices are in a trading range, a lot of times this would have gapped down and went down. It didn't. Now, that doesn't mean it can't fail. But if it can stay up here, let's say for 30 minutes, I think that opens up the door big time to being able to push higher. And when we say, well, higher to where? Well, this 422 area is the top of this range. In here, we can see that's where it fell from. So, it makes SPX today, or if you're going to do spiders or Qs, now that they're available for zero DTA expiration, those credit spreads. Well, I think you need to see what happens here for, whether it's 15 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever, to see what happens here. Now, something's going on. I don't know if anybody else uses interactive brokers, or maybe it's my computer. Hold on. Oh, it looks like it's working now. I don't know. Having a problem filling in all the data. That this computer's working. So anyway, we've got this little void above here. And as I said, this was, bullish, and going sideways is bullish. But, it was Friday. Nothing was, doing too much, at the end of the day. So we'll see if it can clear here, or does it just chop sideways? As always, not always, sometimes we just need more information, based on, hey, went from the bottom of the range to the top of the range. We're starting off the day with a bullish to neutral gap up. It's not clearing resistance. So we need to see what it's going to do. As far as doing SPX, or remembering, is this data filling in? Not yet, but remembering last week on Friday, go above 42, it was 42.15. Now look at your premium. The further you can get away. Now, look, this is a void. And if this can chop around here for a half hour and it breaks out, I'll tell you, if it gets through 4,200, which is a big area, there's a lot of open interest there. And if it was going sideways there for a while, and again, it pops through that, it could really pop. So you want to keep an eye on that. The downside is far down as you can go, where this premium, and 4,100 was a pretty big area. So again, I can't see the quotes there on IB at the moment, but 4,100, if you're a little below it, I think should be fine today. All right, the Qs, there was a big sticking point there at 330. There's some at 332. And so this is gapping up. I can't get through 330. It's at 329. So, the same story as far as jiggling around. What does it do? Can it start to move up? And if it does start to move up, it might just make for, might make an intraday decent run. If it can't, it goes, slowly around here and it starts to break. It's got the void below. And that's, pretty big, large red bar, but it's gapping up toward the top of it. So, the story is the same. Let's wait a few minutes, whatever that might be, till we form a few bars that tell us, a little more information, what's going on. Anyone know what market data subscriptions you need to trade spiders? You need zero DTA. Norbert, you're going to need options authorization. Need options. So you just fill out, they're going to ask you, do you have experience and what have you? You tell them you have no experience, they're probably not going to turn it on. All right. 41.25 for SPX. Let's see. Well, you know the deal, McGraw. 4,100 is a big level, which will provide support based on what we see there. And there is this congestion right there. So coming down to 41.25, of course, is somewhat of a concern. But the odds of going through it. So if it gets here, it's probably going to pop up. How much does it pop up? That's the unknown. So yeah, 41.50. If it gets through 41.50, it's probably going down there. And I would just wait, don't be such, put the hand on the holster, on that, Colt 45, and maybe just hold on for a little bit. Let's see what it does here. But I do think that this would hold today if it came down to 4,100. And if it starts falling, we may as well just wait and go under 4,100 if the premiums pop. Total mess here. Similar type of a pattern of the move up at the end of the week, down at the week, beginning of the week, up at the end of the week. Basically, most things were up or down a little bit last week after the jiggles, down and back up again. Bonds. David, I appreciate you saying that I was right on Friday to wait a little bit. But let me tell you something. Everybody will learn a lot more. And I'm not asking everybody to call me out, for everything I say. But you know what? If I say something, if I point you in a direction in the morning or suggest something, you're very welcome to say, hey, Greg, you know what? You really blew that one yesterday. And, that will spark a conversation as to, hey, what did I miss? Because if I miss something, well, let's see what, and we can discuss it, and everybody learns from that. Hey, I did a trade last week, one day on the NQs, a short, and it didn't work out. And so as I did a post-mortem review of it, I shared that with the green room, and we went over, what I saw as the things that I missed as to the reasons why I really probably shouldn't have done that trade. So everything's about learning. And, we all know we learn more from the things that don't work out, especially if uh, we recognize that, hey, this is really something that wasn't something we should have done. I can't wait for that conversation, McGraw. I hope Brett's ready. Okay. 10-year. Going nowhere, guys. It's going nowhere for several weeks. All right. Oil, popping up after the breakdown. This is something happening so consistently, even intraday, where something breaks down and it goes right through the support and it immediately comes right back up again. So the buy the dip thing is, in force. Now this has support, the next level over. But the point is, this broke down and normally it would have come down here. No, they're jumping in ahead of time below the pivot area. All right. So now we'll see how far it gets up. The last time it got up to this area over here, right, there was this correction and the ETFs went down quite a bit and corrected a bit. So this held up relatively well. If you scroll over to the left there, you'll see there's a resistance area. So just kind of whipping back and forth there. XLE, just like everything last week, was just whipping back and forth. You can see that it's at resistance. If it can go sideways here for a little while, I think it opens up the door to, moving higher. But, we want to see that bullish price action, which is just sideways at resistance. It's got room to pop a little bit there and see the retest and the move up and the sideways price action. So even to consider taking a starter position here near the pivot to see what happens, that's fine. That's fine. Z Trader says crude oil's heading to $70, $75. Maybe so. It's got to clear 68. And then we shall see. So they were talking on, some guy was talking on CNBC this morning that Tesla, in his estimation, was worth, I think he said like $56. I said, whoa. But one of the things he said was, look, people have opinions and then there's facts. And one of the things he said was that, I don't know who this company was, but these credits, what you get, electric cars, that some other company already announced that they were cutting out $300 million in credits to Tesla. And then he went out and said that, this credit thing is a big part of the business. He says they're not making money anyway. So they're going to make less money. And so we'll see. Tesla's, like a cult stock. People believe it's going to go to a gazillion. That's the current contract. I'd have to do the other thing. Hey, maybe it's going up. Everybody has opinions. Z-Trader, follow the charts. Right now, it's gotten a kind of whippy with a new high failure and a breakdown. If it comes back up here and it tightens up, it certainly might be going up to 75 or 80 or wherever it might go. Right? But the reason, I mentioned about Tesla was, hey, we got, this Ford truck coming out with a better battery now, what they talked about. And so this electric thing, more and more cars going electric. Eventually, hope, I don't know, in my lifetime or everyone else's, but, oil may become a thing that maybe saying, hey, you remember what that thing was? Oil, crude oil. Remember they used to use this dirty stuff to run cars? Gold still doing well at resistance. Momentum is slowing down. You can see the little candle bodies and tails there. And silver, right, still it's holding up within a range. And transports, this should be a key factor here. Now, this showed relative weakness last week. We all know that everything popped up, almost everything popped up uh, Wednesday, Thursday. This went sideways. So price is falling 100% down to major support and not popping up as bearish price action. Just like we get sideways action at resistance being bullish price action, sideways price action at support is bearish. And Friday closed with a topping tail. Now, breaking below this level, you know the story, should go down to the green line, the 50 MA, which is here. Transports are going down. What's the Dow going to do? And so on. And then, if the Qs, if this red bar starts following through, well, weakness, maybe back to the bottom of the trading range. Anyway, chop, chop for now. All yours, Dan.
All right, good morning. Yeah, I heard that guy. He's also talking about Tesla. He was sure passionate of his view, but then, like you said, you get the Colts passionate that it's going to whatever it's going to. And that's what makes a market. Everyone has an opinion and you vote with your dollars. That's where you vote. Look at this Bitcoin. Crazy ride again. I heard that it went back down to 32,000 overnight. Now it's at 38. But it is making a turn right here on the daily, at least, right at the 200. So it makes sense. I mean, we nailed that climactic on the monthly. Some of the Bitcoin stocks square here. I lose my pre-market. Always does that. Square up a little bit, but still lagging. PayPal. Hey, we did a 1 DTE put spread on this the other day. That worked out well. And MicroStrategy. I saw on CNBC there was a little thing there where the CEO is saying, "Oh, Bitcoin's making a comeback," and I immediately just thought to myself, "You're just saying that because you're trying to defend your position." That's an ugly breakdown on MicroStrategy. Let's see here. Jose and Thomas, Maxim PLD. Maxim, it is a 1, 2, 3, and it is a bullish weekly and monthly. But the only problem is I'd like it to rest more. We like 1, 2, 3s from consolidation. GHC, yeah, we've traded this a couple times over the last months. Even gave it as a core trade, I remember, because look at this big bottom. And my target was 45 to 50, but it's still climbing up there. ELD, TJX. ELD is fine. We can watch a 30-minute high on that. I'll write it down. TJX. That's a bear 1, 2, 3. Yeah. In fact, got 2 inside bars now. We're going to send out an MT live on the subject that I was talking about last week, which was relative weakness in the shorts that we picked. Were just showing incredible relative weakness. Like this Agco is still gapping down. We're in somber, um, still going down, relative weakness. Let's see, Gateway we're short, not Gateway, HPQ. We got an upgrade, but we've tightened the stop already. We had a nice short on that day right there, so we have an open profit. Forward INO. Well, yeah, it's a wide range igniting, but where are you going to put your stop is the problem. I'd like it to go sideways a little bit more to rest. INO. That bottoming pattern. I don't like the gap over here, but it is a bottoming pattern. We can find better. CCL. We actually shorted a put spread on that on Friday's gap up at a week close. I would say it's neutral. I'd stay away from CCL. Greg, look at space here. Remember I posted it as a core long watch on Thursday's gap? And, the gap was kind of big and I never triggered it, but look at it up now, up 20%. That would have been nice to be in that.
Little position would have paid off.
Yeah. All right, so beyond here got an upgrade, bottoming pattern. Let's watch that for put spread. Pelletier, not Pelletier, Lazar. Lazar, I saw blasting here pre-market. So it's right here at Thursday's high, so 30-minute high. That could be a day trade and a put spread. Carl's asking about card G. It's sloppy. It's tried to break out a couple of times here and keeps getting smacked. But I'd say as long as it holds last week's low, then it's still more bullish. ANET 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's not a 1, 2, 3 because Friday's bar was not in the upper third. Nevertheless, it's still bullish, and we actually have this in our weekend letter too. If it takes out Thursday's high, then just a continuation of a wide range breakout. FTCI is gapping up from a bottoming pattern. We'll watch that, maybe 30-minute high. Coin, I think Goldman might have upgraded them. Gapped up, coming in, really no pattern yet. On TAL, relative weakness. So that's another example of things not bouncing. So I gave you in this chart of the week, we're going to show, the spiders, daily and hourly. And look at this, that's a powerful 3-day rally. So relative weakness is anything that can't bounce with the broader market like that. So TAL is another example. Look at that. Tiny bounce, but in a downtrend, bearish gap, close top and tail, pick up in volume. Now it's gapping down 41.5. That looks lower. Housing actually looks lower. Just gonna get on board. IRM. I like this one. This one's a 1, 2, 3 in an uptrend. ANW swing long watch. Well, problem, Stephen, is it was a big gap. Number one, it's at resistance. It's a doji bar. It's opening kind of flat to down here. And where's your stop? I mean, I'd like it better if it went sideways a little bit. MOXC for Jose. Jose, I'm assuming you're thinking a short because that's what we call a climactic sell setup and a bearish reversal far from the 20, gapping down a little bit. So yeah, I'd say maybe 10-minute low. It's gapping under Friday's low. So 10-minute low, it looks like a short. LL, another example, relative weakness. The market's 3-day rally. This thing's down 3 bars. Dash. Had a nice gap, wide range bar, and look at all of these inside bars now. Got 5 of them. 5 inside days. But if it can take out even just Wednesday's high with this gap reversal, then it might get going. So that's worth watching for put spread and directional. XLY gapping up, no pattern, but that kind of looked lower too. Rawlings, there's another relative weakness example. LOW, I like shorting Friday's low. TPX, another relative weakness here. XLP, if it can get over Friday's high. Playboy, we shorted a naked calls on Friday, the 60s. And if it goes under Friday's low, looks like a directional. Look at this thing of relative weakness award. Wow, that's pathetic. So I like that short under the low. Here's another one, BTBT, which I think is a SPAC. Here's a sell setup Blade. We actually entered Blade on Friday afternoon. Oh, reminder. So Blade. Let's see, our stop is 909. Let me just set the arm on it, and you can add under Friday's low. Oliver, JD, and AGCO. AGCO. Yeah, this was one that we booked. We booked 10 points on this in 3 days. You guys got to work an entry. I can't tell where it's gapping, but if it opens flat, like right here, flat, so it's not participating in the broader market gap, then yeah, 10, then I'd say 10-minute low. All right, so now I see one print there. So I would say wait 10 minutes just to let the market settle a little bit. And then it, wow, tick 1400. Wow. But yeah, you could day trade short that under this closing bar or just Friday's low. And let's see, JD. It is a sell setup, but what I don't like about it is this deep retracement. So because of deep retracement and took out these, 3 bars, I would expect it's not going to make a new low. But it's weak right here, so maybe day trade short is fine, sure. Let's see I alarm go off, so we can do 5-minute high. Now Playboy, 5-minute low. IRM 43.23. Now IRM over Friday's high is fine. We have Facebook put spreads, Roku put spread, LL alarm just went off. See relative weakness. Build a list here to tell our subscribers these are all good to go.